Hello and welcome. I'm Patrick Curtis, Chief Monkey of Wall Street Oasis, and this is Monkey to Millions, a show where you get a front row seat as I mentor young students and professionals to try and help them break into their dream jobs. In the first cohort, you'll meet 4 students, all preparing for intense job interviews while trying to also balance a personal life and schoolwork. The goal of this show is to shine a light on the struggles of trying to break into competitive positions with a non traditional background and to give you a roadmap for your own success. My hope is that as you get to know these 4 impressive students, you are inspired to dream big. Remember, these are real people and this is their true story. Let's get to it. In this episode, Grace gives us an update on her move back to New York City and how her IB internship is starting to ramp up activity with work on a pitch. We also review a plan for her to do another mock next time we meet, focused on behavioral questions and how she should carve out some time to start going through the new WSO financial modeling courses as well. Enjoy. All right, Grace, sorry I'm so late. What's the what's the latest? It is July 1st. Wow, crazy.
Yes.
It is going.
I'm back in New York now. And so I got back a few weeks ago, and I'll hopefully be able to start going back into the office next week. So I was hoping to go back in this week, but then I heard they're not letting interns come back yet. So only the full-time employees. So
Got it.
hoping that next week I can go in a day or two.
Are you living on campus?
No, I'm subleasing from another Fordham student though in an off-campus apartment.
Cool. And then have you been busy with the internship? What's going on? Like, are you still doing a lot, or like how many hours do you think, or has it been up and down?
It's been up and down, but I think it's going to be high for a while now. So the first couple weeks of June was barely anything. And then kind of starting the end of last week, it really picked up a lot. And so this week I've been working a lot, and it probably will be like that for the next few weeks too.
What type of stuff have you been doing?
Right now I'm working on a pretty big pitch. So that's been taking most of my time past couple
A lot
days.
of PowerPoint?
Yeah.
We need to get that PowerPoint course out. I think it would help people. There's a lot of time spent in PowerPoint, a lot of time spent in Excel, right?
Oh yeah.
Very cool. So do you feel like, is the plan, has Fordham said anything in terms of the fall?
Yeah, they're officially planning to be open on campus, and they're slowly releasing more details about how that will work.
Yeah, because I don't know what it's looking like in New York, but other areas of the country, it's starting to spike.
Right.
So I don't know if New York has stayed relatively safe now that people take it seriously there.
Yeah, now it's one of the best places in the country to be. They've quarantined people coming from Texas and a few other states to here right now. So tables have turned from before.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? How it's like going in waves. In pockets of I know Southern California is bad, Arizona's bad. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll see if they truly open up. I hope they do.
Yes.
Have live classes. At least you think you're gonna have to wear a mask, probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, in class and stuff, and sit far apart and all that good stuff. Okay. In terms of just kind of next steps for you, how are you feeling in terms of like the experience you've gotten? You have another month or so, or when do you start classes?
I start classes the very end of August, and
all the way to the end. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll plan to stay with this internship through the fall too.
Oh wow.
The same way I was doing it in the spring, so it'll just go to more part-time.
Do they let you? Yeah, they let you kind of slow down a little bit in the fall once your classes start.
Yeah, so usually in normal times it would be just me going into the office a couple days a week, like what I was doing in January and February. So it was usually around 20 hours a week then.
Okay, that's still a lot for during school.
Yeah, it was good though.
It was good.
Good balance.
You still did well in school and everything like that.
Right.
Then what about the other stuff? See, that it's funny that you say that, like that it's through the fall. I don't know, honestly, I don't know how much benefit that's giving you. Once you have it on your resume and you've done like a full summer, maybe because it's been remote, it's good to kind of keep it.
Yeah, longer. Especially because the summer hasn't been as much as it normally would have been. Yeah. So then the longer I stay, the more trust I build up, the more responsibility I get. So
Yeah, so that's good. You get on more deals. You have more things to write on the resume. That stuff, more
Right.
transactions and stuff. So it makes it look more bankified. Have you taken a stab at actually updating your resume and doing the transaction experience or selected transactions?
Not yet. So maybe I'm thinking in another month or two I might.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
Let me
see
know
what
when you want me to.
happens.
Let me know when you want me to look at that because that's a key thing to do. I think before
Right.
your next round of like networking and sending out your resume. If you have that, it just you're going to get an even better response.
Right.
Because it'll be like, oh wow, she has this already as a incoming sophomore.
Right.
And then so yeah, tell me a little bit about just have you been able to keep up any discussion? I know you had to move back to New York. It's been probably when did we talk last? Early June?
Yeah, the very beginning of June.
Yeah.
So I think about a week after we talked is when I came back up here. And it's been good so far. I've been continuing to talk with a lot of the Fordham alum at some of the bigger banks. Today, Goldman's applications opened, and I was on the phone with a few different people this morning actually, and they're doing it differently this summer because of everything being virtual. So last summer they did sophomores and juniors all together for at least for all the target schools. Fordham is one for Goldman, and this summer they're doing it differently. So they're just doing all the juniors first. So I probably now won't actually even have a higher view to do until the beginning of August. Whereas if I were a year older, I would be doing a higher view within the next week, probably.
Yeah, like very, yeah, people are in the middle of it right now. You see it on the forums, everything. People are like, what?
Right.
Hire me this, hire me that.
Right.
Yeah, it's
the good thing is they said that I'm on the top of their radar. Like everyone from the Fordham team really likes me. And they said if I unofficially, they said if I were a year older, I would have been one of the top people to even go through the accelerated process since Fordham's a target school. So they can do that for a few people.
Good.
But because I'm a sophomore, I can't get that advantage.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And then what about, sophomore is tough. I remember that. And then tell me a little bit about the Fordham alum. Like are they in the right groups that you want to be in? Is there somebody in the real estate group there?
Not real estate in particular, but they're spread throughout other IB divisions. There's someone in TMT, and there's a few other product and coverage groups.
If you can get Goldman TMT, I mean, you can't do much better than that. So
I'm actually not that interested in TMT though.
You're not into it?
That would probably be bottom of my list.
Really?
Just in terms of interest.
And I get
industry.
that. All I'm saying is like for you.
For the experience, right?
No, just not even for the experience, but for the branding and for the impression that gives to future employers. So like my point is like the interest that you have in terms of real estate versus technology media versus telecom, whatever, versus whatever, it's important. But I would tell you as a mentor early in your career, what's more important to give you optionality, to give you the most options later on is to put together, the most impressive resume you can early on, because going from Goldman TMT, you can go anywhere.
Right.
Like, you can still go to real estate. You can still do whatever, like, especially if you show any sort of interest on the outside of, on the periphery of that on your resume. So it's not like, let's say you do internships, you had some real estate stuff, and then you went Goldman TMT. No one's going to be like, oh, you're done with real estate. You can never do it again. They're going to say, wow, oh, she made it there and she survived and she did well. So I'd caution you to be, I would encourage you to look more for the groups that have the best deal flow.
Okay.
Rather than just the groups that, because what really matters is that in your 2 years as an analyst, you do deals, period. So what you don't want to be is at a group that you're really interested in the industry, but the group at that specific bank just happens not to have as much good deal flow as and it could be that the real estate group at, and I have no idea about this, I'm just naming a name, maybe the real estate group at Barclays or at Houlihan Lokey's much better place to start for just pure deal flow. And so like that's the type of stuff that's a little harder to find. You can dig in the forums a little bit in terms of like specific groups and top groups, because I think people get too enamored with like, I go work for Goldman Sachs. And no. Like there's certain groups that are super strong, and Goldman has a lot of strong groups. But my point is like there are certain leaders in different areas. So like LevFin is better at some banks than at others.
ECM, DCM is stronger at some banks than others. The M&A at Morgan Stanley is notoriously very strong. So it really depends on. And I don't like to get too enamored with like, oh, the group prestige and all this stuff. But if you can position yourself to get into one of those groups that just has incredible deal flow, it really just opens up. It keeps a lot of doors open for you. And in a couple of years, you may not even want to do any of this stuff. And so like having that on the resume really just would open up the most doors in terms of whether that's getting into a top business school, whether that's transitioning to private equity or the buy side, maybe even real estate private equity. So I'd encourage you to kind of lean heavier on the actual deal flow that the groups do and the reputation rather than just the pure natural interest.
That makes sense.
Because if you can
at this point,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say at this point it's just getting in the door. So at any bank, and because placement comes later. So
placement comes later, yeah, and that's why I was asking about the Fordham alum and stuff like that. Like if that TMT person shows you like a lot of interest and stuff, you should be like, you shouldn't give them any inkling of like it's not that you're more interested in real estate or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because it would be a blessing, I think, to be in that group because you would just get such incredible experience working on like, massive transactions and you would just learn so much. It'd be amazing. It'd be a hard 2 years, but what else is going on? So that's good. So you're staying active with your network. How about the other stuff, like all the other cold outreach you did and like the follow-ups? Are they hitting your inbox now, all the reminders?
Yeah. So I've been really busy doing, especially the few weeks ago when I didn't have as much work for my internship, I've been trying to do at least 5 or 6 follow-ups a week. And I've been getting pretty good response with that. I'd say about half respond usually. And anyone who does respond always writes a really long message. So it's good, like keeping up those relationships.
And you're just giving them an update, kind of a
yeah.
Okay.
And usually it's personalized too, depending on what I talked to them about and where they work, because a lot of them have sophomore programs that I'll be applying to later at the end of this year to get accelerated recruiting for junior year. So
perfect.
I tailor it depending on who I'm writing to.
And so these are like various banks, middle market, bulge bracket, everything all across the board.
Yeah. And then just random other firms.
You're talking to Moelis, right?
Firms.
You're talking to somebody at Moelis?
Yes. That was more recently. I've only talked to one person there, and that was a month or 2 ago for the first time.
Okay. I'm excited for you. I think you're in good shape. So where do you feel like you need the most improvement in terms of like prep? Is it interview now? Is it modeling?
So.
Is it, where do you feel like the most, or do you feel pretty confident with the interviews now? Like since you haven't really done that many, have you?
No, I mean, I interviewed for the internship I have now, and that was really short anyway. So
yeah,
I've done a mock. I don't know if this was before or after I spoke with you last time. I had a short phone call with one of the more senior Fordham alums at Goldman, who is kind of in charge of Fordham recruiting there, and did a mini mock interview with him. And he said I seemed like I was all prepared. He didn't even go through all the questions because at a certain point he just said, "Oh, you're fine, you're ready." And it's all behavioral at this point. So especially for sophomores, they said in the higher view in particular, it's all just behavioral questions.
Why banking? Why this? Yeah, that's you need to have those down for sure.
Right.
I think where you'll run into more of the technical stuff is if you're going to a smaller place that doesn't have the training program that necessarily a bulge bracket gets, and they may grill you on the technicals, especially if they're like you have to come in with the and be ready to go and model. They'll be like, okay, run me through a DCF,
right.
that type of stuff. Okay. How could I be most helpful kind of in your summer? I know it sounds like you're pretty busy now as things are ramping up at the internship, and you're going to have to wait another week before you go in, but then you're going to be doing 50 plus hour weeks, 60 hour weeks, you think?
I think it's really going to depend. So when I do start going in, it won't be every day.
Okay.
I don't know. The HR person just said they're taking it week by week, so she'll keep me updated as soon as they know. But I mean, I don't even have to take public transport to the office, so I'm thinking I shouldn't have to wait too long before I can go back, and I can just walk there. So
Yeah. In the meantime, it's already picked up, right? They're still, they're keeping you in the loop and keeping you busy.
Yes.
Are you doing like 10-hour days, 20-hour days?
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I probably did 11.
It's a lot. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Anything else I can help with in terms of like our plans for kind of next session? Do you want to do something like a mock interview, or anything like that?
Next session, that would probably be good. And then I was also going to ask about the modeling course you'd mentioned last time. I emailed, I think it was Isabella, and I didn't hear back from her. I wasn't sure if there was any.
Yeah, email Ivy at wallstreetoasis.com or Bella, Bela.
Okay.
At Wall Street, and you could CC me on that and just say, hey, I'm a mentor of Patrick, a mentee of Patrick's on the show. It'd be great if I could get access. Yeah, because we just released, we have the Excel modeling course, the financial statement modeling course is released, which are great, like foundational ones for you to start on. Have you done the Excel? You haven't started the Excel yet?
I don't have access to it.
You don't? Oh, okay.
So that's why I've been emailing, but I guess I have the wrong
Yeah, just CC me on those so that if they're not responding, I'll make sure I can get it to you right now. If you just shoot me whatever email is on your account.
Okay.
If you want to just chat with me on Skype or whatever, even here, I can do it in seconds. And then, so there's Excel modeling, financial statement modeling course, which are like really foundational. We have an LBO modeling course, which it's a little more advanced. And I would tell you probably focus on the valuation modeling first.
Right.
Which is coming out, which is already the lessons are getting uploaded right now. It'll be kind of buttoned up and all done within a few weeks. So you can start with Excel and financial statement modeling, then you can jump to valuation because that'll be, you're not going to have that much time to go through them, but like even if you spend a couple hours a week on it, I think, you can knock out one a month or one every 2 or 3 weeks. If you actually commit some time to it. And then we're going to have M&A modeling and DCF modeling coming out by ideally end of August. If not fully buttoned up, at least some of the lessons getting uploaded in there, so you can dive in if you're willing to watch the lessons without like the full animation and everything done. Because we want to get access to people, because people are purchasing the full package already.
Okay.
And so they're getting a discount by buying it early. As we're releasing these courses, I wanted to make it available because the first 3 courses I think are really foundational anyways. Get them started. So yeah, I'll get you access to that. And then if you have questions as you go through that or any feedback, we love feedback. And we've already had a ton of beta users go through and give us awesome feedback to improve both the LMS or ask questions about the content to clarify certain things. And we have what I call support mentors on staff ready. So like technical questions that our support team can't answer, like they immediately forward any questions that hit the lessons. They forward it to a support mentor, which is basically an investment banker or a private equity professional to answer within like 24 to 48 hours. So if there's like, hey, why is free cash flow like after this, or why are they, I don't understand that, they'll kind of explain it in further detail.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of we're leveraging the 650 plus mentors we have for that to provide great support to the students. But yeah, so I'll get you access to that. And then, I think it's something that, unfortunately, I didn't get it to you earlier. I'm sorry. Like I thought you had it because like now you're busy with the internship, but I'll get it to you today.
Okay.
And so you can start diving in. Hopefully you'll have fun with it because there is an animated monkey called Max in there. So it won't bore you. What else? So we'll do that. I think that'll be good for this next month. And then maybe next month, maybe we focus on behavioral again, because I do think that's going to be 80%, 90% of what you're going to get.
Right.
And then if you want to just study the investment banking interview course, the basic and the intermediate technicals really well, make sure you have those down because they're the most common as well. I won't grill you on any advanced kind of weird. But I do think it makes sense to kind of go over. We did a mock, I think maybe not last time or the time before where.
I think we've done 2 at this point.
Yeah. Where I remember some of the LBO stuff, I was a little bit more like picky on with you and like telling you to be a little more specific with like the market and everything happening. Right. I was getting a little bit like, it was kind of, I thought you did really well overall. So, but I think it makes sense to just practice again.
Right.
Practice makes perfect.
Yes. And they told me too that a big part of it is just kind of showing that you've been reading the news and staying on top of current deals going on. And
know where the market
a few things to talk about.
Know where the market is, know what they've been working on, why that bank, what specifically makes them unique about their culture, stuff like that.
Right.
And the best thing you can do is if you're talking to people there, the alum, you talk about those conversations. You bring those up, like, right. And then they say, well, why this? I mean, well, I spoke with, XYZ John, I spoke with John and is in the data group. It seemed really interesting how you guys have done this and this. Then boom, they're like, wow, she's done all her research. She's networked. She gets it. She's actually interested. It's not just applying on a whim. Right. That's what they want to make sure is like, what you're getting into, you're excited about it. And if you have that, then if you check all those boxes, they're going to be like, yes to her. They're going to walk out and be like, yes, give her an offer, So I guess that's it. I'll work on getting you access right now to that stuff. And then from there on out, what else can I do?
Right now, not much. I'm just kind of keeping busy working. So not a whole lot else going on.
Yeah, I think it's good. I would caution to continue the internship into like the spring. Is it supposed to end in the winter?
It's not like there's any set end date because they always have an intern. So it's just whenever I leave, I'll help them find another Fordham student to replace me.
So what I would do, and I think this is important, what I would do is work there until you get a few good deals on your resume, whether it's pitches, whether it's closed deals, with modeling, where you can legitimately talk about them in the interviews. Once you have that, I would help them transition because I think you getting time for school, time to breathe, and even just time to continue your networking efforts, I think is so you have to do well in school. You have to do well, and the networking is going to get you much further than pitching for the 10th time.
Right.
On the thing. So like once you get the value out of that and do good work for them and they're happy with you, I think bowing out, maybe end of this year, if you feel like it's a good time, would be good to give yourself a little bit of a breather as you head into recruiting. Here. Because you don't want to be getting out of college in 4 years and already be burnt out.
Right.
Like you really this is supposed to be time where you're like also enjoying yourself a little bit, not just like investment banking. Right. I feel like I'm a little bit responsible for like telling you network, because I realize like that's such a value. So like I told one of the other mentees this, like quit that internship. Like you have enough. Like, what are you doing? Like, cause they were just keeping him on for cheap labor. And it was like, he already had the boutique experience. I'm like staying there is doing nothing except eating up your time for like networking, for getting a full-time job. And he listened and he left. I'm like, are they going to give you a full-time offer? No, then leave. So it's like, there's at a certain point you have to really look out for yourself because they'll just they'll keep you around because it becomes more convenient too for them because like they don't have to train you as much and you have a good workflow and stuff.
I will say it is nice to be making a little bit of money while I'm still taking classes.
So they are paying you and it's decent.
Oh yeah, it's by the hour. So
okay, so that is good. Okay, well then if you need the money, then sure, they keep it going.
Better than working a part-time job at a store or something.
True. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's something else. It depends like what your financial situation is and if it's helpful to you and they are truly respecting like the limits in terms of hours. And you feel like you can handle it, then for sure, keep it. It's a remote. You could potentially do it remotely with classes right there or walk to the office 10 minutes away, whatever it is.
It's so close. So
that's really awesome. Convenient. So yeah, I mean, if that's the case where you feel like it's a really good experience for you and you feel like you're still learning, and like maybe at the end of the year, all of a sudden you're doing a little bit more, like you're handling some models, handling the financial model and doing that. If that's the case, keep going.
Right.
You feel like you're still getting value out of it for sure. I'm just saying if you get to the point where you're like pitching and like you're in PowerPoint, 60 hours a week and like all of a sudden school starts and they're like still pushing you to work 25, 30 hours. And like, if you're feeling stressed out, like step back and realize like, okay, maybe the value I'm getting out of this isn't worth the time.
Right.
But yeah, I'm glad they're paying you.
Yes. Yeah. Good. And I mean, this summer too, if I get overtime if I work more than 40 hours.
Awesome.
So
good. Okay. So you get paid a lot.
Yeah. So I'm happy with it.
Cool, man. Okay. Well, listen, I will chat with you again in about a month. And yeah, if there's anything else, just ping me and email or Skype or whatever. And sorry again, I'm late today. And
oh, no worries.
We'll chat again soon.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Grace. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
And thanks to you, my listeners at Wall Street Oasis. If you have any suggestions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to send them my way, patrick@wallstreetoasis.com. And until next time.